let me get this pulled up on my iPad where I can read comments. Leave me a comment so I know who's out there. Is anyone available? Hey, Tyler. I don't know how delayed y'all my um, notifications are from this because as most of you that have been following me for a while know that my internet has been very terrible lately. And hey, JL, hey, Lisa, hey, Kelly. Y'all, I've had trouble with my internet and it's kind of spotty, so I just spur of the moment. I was sitting here, wasn't really doing nothing late this evening. It's finally cooled off enough to get out here on the porch, and I just decided I had a cup of coffee. I said, let's have a little chit chat out here. Hey, Scott Ledbetter. I feel like it's as hot in Atlanta and Alabama as it is in Mississippi. Now, I'm not about Oklahoma. What's it like up there, Kelly? My birthday was a couple of weeks ago, but thank you for the happy birthday. Oh, I don't really have a topic in mind. If y'all got any questions, anything you would like to talk about or know, we'll talk about whatever. The wind is picking up. There are clouds rolling in. They have predicted us to have a little bit of rain every day for the next week. I figure it's afternoon, late showers. We typically get that this time of year. It's welcome for the garden, but it usually don't help our heat much. They say in this coming week is going to drop down into the low 90s this week, so a relief from being 100 last week, which I don't know if we really got to 100. I think it was in like 96, 97 was about the highest we really got to, but the heat ain't what kills us here, it's the humidity. And when it gets so bad, you can't even breathe. But it's hot in Oklahoma too. I figure most of the southern half of the United States, and I haven't got a lot of experience in Oklahoma to know how the weather is there. I know I talked to my sister in Arizona last week. They're up around Flagstaff somewhere, and she said, "Oh, it's 75 degrees," but they're in the high country up, so it's not as bad. But anyway, I North Carolina humidity's bad too. It's tough here, and it pulls off the Gulf, and it literally gets. When I'm outside and I'm soaking my clothes with sweat, I'm gasping for breath, and it just makes doing anything tough. And I had several chores, and last week wound up a busy week, and I tore up a tire on the buggy. I was going to tell y'all about that, and I hadn't really done a video since I done it. You're going to see this new set of tires and wheels on the Polaris Ranger from here on. I didn't go spend a fortune to put this custom set of tires and wheels on there. People look at it and think, oh, you're making a bunch of money and you went and bought this. The Lord really blessed me. I've got about $220 something in this set of tires and wheels, and I got them because it was 14-inch wheels, and my plan is to eventually put truck tires on there because they got steel belts. I'll get a set of like buckshot motors or whatever you can buy. I think BF Goodrich makes a tire that will, for 14-inch tires, it's kind of for them buggies, but I want a truck tire to go on there because I'm on these gravel roads and so much, and I really don't mud ride. I don't need this big mud grip that you're going to see on there. It looks like I'm fixing to take off and try to cross a pond on it. But I was down there. We rode down to the swamp early in the week last week, and I had a low tire. Knew it was low. I aired it up before we left, and I sprayed it with soapy water, and I never seen it bubbling out anywhere. That's how I checked for leaks. I couldn't find where it was leaking. I thought, well, if I find the leak, I'll just plug it and roll. I was like, well, it ain't leaking very bad then because it ain't bubbling out anywhere, so we can ride down there and make it back. Well, before I made it back, it went completely flat, and it was so hot, and the road was so hot that the tire come apart. So I had to go to looking for tires, and luckily, a guy had a four-wheeler that he had destroyed, and I bought the tires and wheels off of it. So that's where they come from. So in future videos, when you see that, I didn't go pay $1,000 for a set of tires and wheels. Just know this up front. But anyway, and I hate y'all. Hey, Larry, good to see you. Northeastern Oklahoma, yeah. Y'all hide up there too. RG, good to see you. Stovepipe, hey. I try to keep up with these comments, y'all, and say hey to everybody. But if somebody gets missed, y'all, please forgive me. I don't overlook somebody on purpose. It's hard for me to read this, talk to you, do everything at once. But I apologize for not giving y'all a warning. I like to get on here and say, hey, we're gonna go live at such and such time, so that everybody kind of knows it's coming. But we're not gonna talk about anything important. Just if somebody's got questions, we'll answer them and talk about whatever. While I'm waiting on somebody to ask a question, y'all know I put lights in the garden to fight the deer out of the peas. Well, I moved them all to one side of the garden because I've got about 4 or 5 rows that are really making good. I went back and had planted some corn in some middle rows. Those peas never came up that I planted that were had some problems, they looked like they were old, and I planted them just to see. They didn't come up. The weeds took that. So I just left the weeds there. Well, there's one row all the way on the back side that came up right next to those 3 rows of corn. Well, I took and hoed all the briars that was coming up there. We got those big, tall hog briars, and they get like shoulder high. And I took a hoe and went through there and chopped all that mess down and cleaned it up real good because it's about time to start really picking peas like full blown. So I went in there and cleaned it out good, and we're loading up with peas. We're going to probably we picked a little over a bucket day before yesterday. Now they are really loaded up. We're gonna get up in the morning and probably pick a whole bunch of peas first thing about daylight. And well, anyway, this morning I go out there to check, and I knew the deer had got back in them. They outsmarted the lights. They figured out where those lights and alarms were, and they got between them. And they got on that back side back there and took out a whole row of peas last night. I've been parking the Polaris Ranger out there by the garden. And this other dog that I keep somewhat on a chain, I've had some people fuss at me about a dog being on a chain. Well, she's kind of, you can't just let her run loose all the time. She fights with my mama's dog. But I've had her out there. She's very protective of that buggy. And she has bit one lady that came up here that got too close to that buggy. She jumped off the buggy and just nipped her on the heel. So I can't really just leave her loose all the time. But I leave her loose out there. I thought, well, she'll keep the deer run off out there. Well, with her out there too, they eat up a whole row of peas. So, y'all, I'm back to fighting the peas. So, hopefully they don't get in there tonight and eat them up before I get what I want picked out of it tomorrow. I will get pretty much everything I want to put up in the morning, provided the deer don't eat them tonight. So I may be up throughout the night checking and shining for deer. And if I find a deer in there tonight, there's probably going to be gunfire. Just heads up on that. I'm not above it. I've had people tell me that that's what I need to do to begin with. Y'all, I just hate, and I have shot at them one time already early this year with bird shot. I sprinkled them. It's against my creed to kill something and not be able to use it. And my problem with killing a deer right now number one, it's so hot, I got a short window in getting that meat put in a cooler with ice. That's not a problem. I can take my Yeti cooler and put some froze bottles out of the freezer in there and have it ready in a matter of seconds. The next thing is, though, is the space I have in my freezer to put deer meat. I need to put vegetables in. Now, we're going to can a lot of vegetables. We could can deer meat, but the next problem is from there, we've got so much can to do right now, I don't know if I can get deer meat canned before it spoils. So, too much going on right now. Cheryl, you're not late. I just jumped on here at the spur of the moment, and I don't know how long I'm going to be on. If some of you need to go do something else, I totally understand. Drop in, say, hey, do what you got to do. We're not doing anything really important. But I welcome all of you to stay, sit here, and have a cup of coffee with me, and we'll chit-chat. Brody's got his bug cage out here that Miss Sue sent him. He's been playing, putting roly-polies in it, but he ain't doing a good job of keeping them alive for some reason. I'll let y'all figure that out. Nova Scotia, I can't even imagine. Hello back to Nova Scotia. Tyler, there's 3 messages that come up from you that says message retracted. I don't know. Not sure. One of them says bowfish. I'm assuming you're talking about bowfin, want to know about bowfin. Hey, B. Hendricks from Washington State. That's another one, a pretty good ways away. So, HS, good to see you. Cheryl, hello. I can't even imagine, hello. B. Hendricks, hello. Good to see all of y'all joining. I've seen a lot of new names. Some of you I know from comments, been following this channel for a long time, but those of you that are new, we're like a giant family here. I'm just a down-to-earth old country boy. I'm not better than nobody, but I just enjoy filming and doing things. I don't think I'm smarter than nobody. I ain't figured a whole bunch of stuff out you don't know. I just enjoy sharing what we do in the life we live. So welcome. I welcome all of you. Hot Louisiana. If you in South Louisiana, I know you boiling hot. My daddy worked down there for a lot of years on an oil rig and a barge out in them marshes, and yeah, I know it's well hot down there. But you was asking about bowfin. Y'all gonna call them shoepick down there. We call them grinnell here, but it is bowfin. I went yesterday and tried to catch one. I filmed yesterday. I don't know if I'm gonna make the video. I caught a few bass. It was so hot. Roscoe went with me. We're down there in the boat. I carried the Yeti cooler and packed 2 froze gallon jugs of water in there to keep the cooler cool. I put another jug of water in the grill in there for me to drink that I had in the refrigerator. And I drank all the water up before we got back. I fished from 10 o'clock till 3. Dummy me picked the hottest part of the day, but that was the window that I had available to go. I had to work on some pottery first thing. And then we had company coming later in the evening. I had to be back out. And I fished hard. Roscoe got so hot he drank all the water. The boat leaks a little bit, and it leaks water into the boat. He drank all the water out of the bottom of the boat. And I poured him some water that I had too, and he drank it. And finally I throwed him in the river, which I held his collar, dipped him down and let him cool off. But we never did catch a grinnell. I hung one that broke my line off right straight. I didn't even turn it around, so I don't know how big it was. But I have got some bowfin coming up that we're going to do. I really want to target bowfin this year. I've got a different place that I've decided today that I'm going to go fish. I got to baptize a lady today. Actually, I baptized her and her husband. I only thought I was baptizing her. Husband decided he wanted to be baptized too. And we were at a local small lake. It's a little tributary off the river here, the Pearl River. And they was bowfin rolling the water out there while I was there. And I'm like, you know what? This spot is not really fished that heavily. Not for bowfin. People that fish there fish for brim or catfish. So I think I'm going to take the War Eagle and go after. I'm waiting on some products to come in that are being shipped to me, some rod holders and a cast net from Placino. And I'm going to do their video, and we're going to bowfin fish. So anyway, we buy bags of corn to feed the deers, and they don't mess with anything else. I'm going to tell you, I'm glad that works for you. I have tried feeding them, and it makes our problem worse here. And my reason is we're so close to this swamp. It's about a quarter of a mile back behind my house to the swamp, and it's full of deer. I say full of deer. It's not as full of deer as a lot of people would think, but there's no houses for 2 or 3 miles. There's deer everywhere, and they come up here looking for free food this time of year because they eat a lot of briars, blackberry vines, and this right now those are dying off. And I've noticed here in the yard they've eat up the wild lettuce, and there's just they like to come up here and eat these peas. They have found them, and once they find something that they like, they're gonna eat it. Now I don't have a problem with deer eating my corn up. The squirrels get in the corn, but it's one of the things I'm gonna have to just stay out there and look for them and keep them run off. I hate to kill deer. I could kill them and eradicate my problem. I can't let myself won't allow me to do it and not harvest them and put them in a freezer. Hannah Elizabeth. She has a dog whose name is Gideon. He is a Rottweiler. If y'all get a chance to go to my Facebook page, there's a Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page. She has sent me videos or tagged me and stuff of her dog watching the YouTube channel, watching my videos. And I'm not talking about the dog happens to look up at the screen and they capture a picture of it. This dog is glued to the screen, bug-eyed, watching me and listening to me talk. And I shared one of her posts to Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page. Go check that out if you're on Facebook and look and check this dog out watching Spirit of the Outdoors. His name is Gideon, so good to hear from you, Hannah. North Dakota. No, I'm not taking orders on knives. I'll tell you how this is going to work. I got overloaded with them. I got more knives than I can build. And right now I'm worried that there's about 10 more knives I have got to make and get shipped out. I've got some I'm shipping out right now I just worked on. But I've got so much going on, I'm not being able to get them made. And I'm not going to take any more orders until I get these made. And probably after that, I'm not going to take orders on knives. What I'm going to do after I get these knives made is I'm going to continue to make knives and sell them, but they will go to my Etsy store. And and when a knife pops up on there, I may do a post, community post or whatever, and let you know that there's a couple of knives on there, and they'll be first come, first serve, because the taking orders through YouTube gets majorly overwhelming for somebody that's just doing it as a hobby. If that was my main business, it would be a blessing. But I make pottery for a living, and if you ordered a knife and I was nice enough to say, and I'm nice enough, but if I took an order for a knife right now, it's liable to be Christmas before you got it. And my heart don't, I know when I order something, I'm ready to get it. And I understand that, and I don't want to make people mad at me. I'm afraid people are going to get frustrated with me and think that I'm not a man of my word or I'm not doing things. And y'all, it's just that knife making is a hobby. It is really not my priority. And if I rush through a bunch of knives to hurry up and get them out, well, the quality of them will suffer. But I'm going to continue to make knives. When I get these 10 made, it's going to probably be closer to fall by the time I get through with all of them. Or once the garden is over with, I may be able to get them knocked out. But then from there, I'm going to just make a few knives, and I'll make those knives probably with what wood I have for handles and put them on there. And then I'll probably have sheaths available for left or right. Most people are wanting a right side sheath, so I'll have more of them most likely. And I'll sell them through Etsy. That'll be the way that works. Red Scout, I agree. I've been baptized several times, but I wasn't expecting it. But I needed it. If not, I needed the bath anyway. Kevin, hello from North Dakota. How to hunt in Mississippi. We try to share what we do through videos. The bowfin, if you're talking about how I hunt the bowfin, deep holes um, and I watch them roll the top of water. If you find them feeding on fish, they'll come up when it gets hot in a still part of the water. They'll start rolling the top of that water. So they're not hard to find then. But I went yesterday and I couldn't really find any. The water is dropping very fast in this swamp, and but it'll be a good thing later this week. I could probably take the Polaris and drive up to one of my secret honey holes that I know where he is, and stand and wade out about knee deep and fish, and nobody fishes that hole a lot, and probably absolutely wear them out. But I have to wait till the sloughs get down where I can cross them to get out there to where these holes are. Um, but if you're talking about hunting a deer now, I'll just have to step out the back door and shine a light periodically for these deer and the peas. And I'm going to do that tonight for a while. Hello from Kentucky. Yeah, I hope my peas are okay. Tonight will be the night. They've done eat that one back row up. It was zipper cream peas. They'll put back out and make more peas if we get some rain and it ain't. And peas is one of those things I can take the bush hog and go in there and bush hog that whole garden, and they'll grow a whole new vine and make peas again in the fall. So if I don't make peas now, I can bush hog it and they'll just about put out and do again if I go in and side dress them with fertilizer. Hail did some damage to your garden. We hadn't had any hail here, but now we have had it in surrounding areas around here. I hadn't had it on this property, so God has looked out for us on that. Hey, Jay Bates. What is the Etsy store? There is a link. If you'll go to the Spirit of the Outdoors homepage, there is 3 links show up. One is to Facebook, one is to the Instagram, and one is to an Etsy store. Now, right now, there is nothing on it. In fact, there may be a white T-shirt on there that is no longer available. So, there may be a white T-shirt left in there, but I'm supposed to have T-shirts coming possibly this week. I don't know. They've been supposed to call me. They were supposed to be ready last month. We called and checked on them, and they was like, oh, we've got part of them made, but we don't have the other color. And I think they just didn't want to tell us that part of their shirts, the color I wanted, didn't come in. They were waiting on them, which is no big deal. So I don't have shirts here now. I'm waiting on them to get them to me. And when they do, then we'll do a video and be like, there's shirts here. They'll go on the Etsy store. I may try to sell them. Now, when I sell something individually, I do a PayPal request. And you send me, when you pay for it and the shipping, they'll go out through the mail, and I'll send you a tracking number, and you'll pay me through the PayPal link and pay for the shipping. And that's the way I do that normally. But once the initial order of that's over, what's left, I'll put on the Etsy store, and they take care of everything, and you pay through Etsy. But Etsy is basically an online store for individual handcrafters, and I'll put the shirts on there. When I do this, I'll put the vinyl stickers that are left on there, and I'll put what knives later in the year that I have for sale on there then. But it'll be a while for these knives show up on there. But when I get some knives available, I'll let y'all know. In fact, I was working on a holster earlier down there for a little bit that I've put some finished touches to that I've got to ship out this week. So I'm trying to get them done, y'all. I'm just bad slow about it. But right now, like I said, the gardening's coming in. We're going to do peas this week. I'll probably get what peas I want to fool with this week, and then I'll start giving peas away. We've already been giving cucumbers away. The tomatoes are just starting. They have not really took off yet. So we'll be doing tomatoes at some point, and that's probably all we're going to really put up other than green beans. And my green beans, I'm sure they need picking right now. I picked a bucket of them and give them away this week to my mom. So hi to Bella D. Woody. Hello, Bella. Y'all, do you grind any of your corn for cornmeal? Larry, the pencil cob corn is what we call shoe-peck corn. It has a very small cob and a long kernel, and I grow a good bit of it. Now, I don't know if I grew any of that. I'm not sure now what I planted back here. I planted 3 rows of either the white trucker's corn or the shoe-peck. I plant those two regular. I was gonna grind some last year, but my little personal mill froze up. I foolishly put salt in it, and that messed it up. I can fix it. I just hadn't done it yet. But we have a mill that we can carry stuff to, and I wanted to do that. But this year I fooled around and didn't really plant enough corn. We'll just have to see. If I get enough corn to carry over there, we may do that and go and show you. It's an old-timey grist mill. It's a water grist mill, and they will grind corn. It's called Seipel's Mill. You can look it up. And we do that occasionally. I hear firecrackers shooting, y'all. Somebody's celebrating the 2nd day of July. But y'all, what else I was gonna say is I have had the pleasure of being out in public, and I'm finding a lot of young kids that's coming up to me and telling me they watch my videos. And y'all, that is very heartwarming. There's a special place in my heart for kids. They're very special. They're our future generation, and they need role models. They need real men in their lives. And I know, I'm not saying that some of you are not, but some of these kids are from single mothers or whatever else, and they may not have a real father figure in their life. And if I don't do nothing but be that to them and show them how to hunt and fish, give them a reason to want to do it, be somebody, because y'all, there are a lot of awful role models out there for kids. If somebody can just be a decent person in life, y'all be that. Be that. I ain't the only one that can do it, but it warms my heart for these kids to watch my videos. And to all of you kids, I want you to know I love you. Keep watching. I want to inspire you. This is a clean channel. It's okay to be a clean, good person all of your life. You don't have to fit into the mold of the world. But hello, Bella. Good to see you. Thank you for watching. But yeah, Larry, on the corn, last year my plan was to take corn that we picked and shelled and take to the grist mill, and I never could make it happen. I just, I never could get up with them and get a day set up that I could go. We got busy. And the problem is in the fall when I harvest it, we get swamped with Christmas pottery. And then what free time I got, I'm wanting to film videos and go hunting. And I mean, you know how this gets. I want to spend time out playing in the woods when I ought to be working, and that's what's happening now. And y'all, this is gonna really hurt some feelings, or for some people. I'm thinking about thinning my chickens down, like really considerably. There's a few breeds that I'm gonna keep, but I've been losing roosters in them cages down there. And y'all, I'm just not really wanting to put roosters back into them. I'm thinking about when I gather up all these babies that's running loose on the yard and get them all caught up, just like having a mass thinning out, selling all these chickens. I want to keep a pen full of birds to lay eggs, but having chickens everywhere, y'all, it's costing me a bunch to feed them, and I'm not making money off of them. And I realize I have a bunch of people that watch my videos strictly because of the game fowl. And I love game fowl. They're my favorite chicken. They lay good eggs, but they're not fit to eat if I needed to use them in a homestead situation. I will always have a few game fowl, but I've got way too many chickens, and I'm thinking about thinning that down. Yes, that tarp. If I had to choose, if you're talking about the tarps, now go back and watch the video where I made the tarps. I made an oilskin tarp, and then I made the silicone tarp, which is a bed sheet that I dipped in silicone, a tube of silicone and mineral spirits. And it by far is superior to the oilskin cloth because it is probably a third of the weight. The oilskin tarp is very heavy, it is very flammable, It's just, there's a lot of things into it, and it's also not as durable. The fabric, the way it soaks so well, tears really easy. When the bed sheet that's soaked in silicone held up to the weather just as well. So we are going to make another one this fall. I'm going to buy a used bed sheet that is not 3,000 thread count and see if it holds up. I already have my gallon of mineral spirits. I already have 3 tubes of silicone, which will do 3 tarps. But I want to dye one green, and we're going to use a method I have found here back in the spring that's made from the berries. The dye is made from the berries. It's on a privet hedge that grows everywhere here. I have it all over my property. So I can harvest these berries, boil them down, and make a olive green dye, which is, olive green is a color I love for all of my camping gear. Because when I go to the woods, I don't want to be found. I don't want people knowing where I'm at. I want to be able to slip in, slip out. I don't want people finding my camp. I'm not down there in a survival situation hoping somebody will find me to rescue me. I'm going down there to get lost. So, you know, with that being said, yes, the silicone tarp is holding up. I have used it a few times. I haven't used it a lot. Right now it's too hot to be out camping. But we're going to make another one, and it, as far as weight and all, it's the way to go. If I was going to make one, and I don't think with it has to be a 3,000 count sheet to make a tarp to sleep under, but yeah. And another thing is I'm fixing to do a project when I get through with some of what I've got going on. I want to build a rack on the back of my pickup truck out of some legs I have off of a trampoline and cover it with a tarp. I was thinking about buying a canvas tarp, like an old army colored, the tan canvas or brown, and fixing my truck where I can sleep in the back of it so that we can go to the Tombigbee River and pull the boat and spend one night camping out, running jugs or just fishing, and come home the next day and not have to carry the camper. Like if I'm just going by myself or just me and Brody's going in the future. And probably wind up, my plans is to eventually paint my truck OD green. I've got to order some paint, and I have a paint gun, and I'm just going to do it like the Army and spray it out here in the yard. I mean, typical redneck style. So anyway, yeah. Can I set the chicken free? I can set them free if you want to see them all eat up. Now, I do have several chickens running in the yard, but if I turn the chickens out, they would last probably a week here. With the coyotes really not as bad as the foxes and the possums and the coons would kill every one of them in a matter of weeks. So they're in those cages for their protection, not just because I want to keep them pinned up. They're there to be protected, which has not worked totally for me, okay, mind you. But no, you can't just turn them loose and set them free. And the next thing is, if you turn all your chickens loose, you cannot have a garden. They will eat every tomato. They will eat all of your vegetables up. It just don't work. And if I put a fence around my garden to keep them out of it, they're still destroying my landscape. They'll scratch all the pine straw around every plant. And then I can't get in my garden to plow it or work it with a tractor or the tillers. So there's a lot of reasons that they are in pens. It's not just because, hey, you're cruel and you want to keep them caged up, look at the life they're living. That's not how that works. It's more about their protection and their safekeeping is why they're in them cages. Michigan Prepper, I have plans tomorrow to get the flintlock out and do a 4th of July video that I will release on the 4th of July shooting black powder. That is my plan. Provided the weather holds up and I can make that happen tomorrow. That's what I had the goals, because I need to target shoot my little flintlock. It is dialed in dead on at about 50 yards, but I've been missing squirrels with it. The last hunt I did at 20 yards. So I think that I'm arching over them, and I need to do some shooting and see where that ball is hitting at 20 yards So, yeah, I want to do so. I'm missing my black powder as much as y'all are. I promise I am. I just, so many videos, it's hard to wedge them in. And when you got an old boy that likes to fish as much as he likes to hunt, shoot black powder, and it's fishing season, and I've yet to really catch and cook a bowfin yet. I want to do, y'all seen the crappie video where me and Brody cooked the crappie? Well, I want to go catch a grinnell on the creek and cook it out of that chuck box on the creek, right there in the boat or somewhere, and do a catch and cook on bowfin right down there. So I hadn't been able to make that happen, but anyway, yeah, I have plans, y'all, for more videos than I can shake a stick at. But I'm ready to, and I do want, before fall, we're going to make some more black powder. I've got my stuff together, just hadn't made it. We're going to make, I have several project videos, like small I want to make charcoal. I have got stuff to set up to make it. I want to make my own charcoal to cook with. So there's a lot going on and a lot of future projects here that we have plans for. We're going to film and a lot of new stuff. And the big thing that's coming up is I started peeling poles for a back patio. As soon as we get gardening kind of out of the way where I can focus on that, we're going to start building this back patio. And before fall, I have to be through with it. And all of my cooking, the Blackstone, the smoker, which was a smoker and grill combo I cooked with wood on. Hopefully I can get a new 2-burner, or actually it'll be a 3-burner set up. It's a little expensive, but I've got one picked out locally here at the store that I want to do my cooking on, where we can possibly start doing some canning outside and stuff on gas. And I want to, so that build of that, I'm going to film the whole project. It'll be more than one video, but there'll be an outdoor kitchen. And we're going to do an open range fire pit back there initially to cook on. So after that is complete, then you'll start seeing a lot of my cooking videos come back. I love to film cooking videos, but it's hard for me to set up out here on this front porch where I'm at now by this table and cook right over here and it look decent. It just, I don't know. And I want quality videos. I don't want to just throw everything together. And I do throw a lot together. Uncle Sasquatch, it's good to see you, my brother. Larry Alexander, good to see you. I was hoping I wouldn't miss y'all. And I was hoping that Mike Reed would show up eventually. If he sees me on, he'll probably hop on in a little bit. But y'all long-time followers, and I know there's a lot of you that watch that can't comment. I have a lot of people that watch that are on TV and they can't comment or like at all. But I want you to know I appreciate y'all watching. I know you're watching, even though you ain't commenting on everything. Yes, I have not lost not one squash plant this year. Not one squash plant. That granulated ain't poison is the way to go. Now, I have seen videos about all this all-natural stuff, and I'm not going to sit here and say it don't work. I'm going to just say I have not had success with it. Maybe I didn't mix it right. Maybe I didn't apply it right. Maybe I have not done it right. I have tried the borax for ants. I have tried a lot of natural stuff, y'all, and I just simply have not found success in it. So I don't know. Mr. Risa, how are you tonight? No, Larry, you didn't hear about miss me. I'm going to stay on here a while just to talk to you. Y'all, I want y'all to know y'all are the highlight of my day. I love all of you. I enjoy reading comments. I like when I put a video and y'all are commenting on it. It motivates me. And y'all, this is a great channel because y'all are a great group of people. You really are. And the channel is growing. We have doubled in size as far as subscribers in the last year. And y'all, I'm still not getting a lot of negative comments. I do get a few alone, mainly on videos that go viral, like the lactuca, the wild lettuce video where I made the tar. That video is like getting hundreds of thousands of views, and there's a lot of new people that don't know me that comment on there, but I still get very little negativity. Now my Instagram is a whole nother story. When one of my reels goes viral on Instagram, you pick up people. I had a bunch of people wanting to rainbow me because I had on my colored tie-dye in there, and you just ignore that. these people that have no idea what they're talking about want to crucify you over stuff that they don't even know what they're talking about. I don't pay it a lot of attention, but here on this YouTube channel, there's not been much negativity, y'all, and I appreciate that. It speaks well of you guys, not me. Larry Reese said, tell Uncle Sasquatch howdy for me and tell him thank you for all his advice on the muzzleloader. Well, Larry Reese, I think you just told him, but y'all, if you don't get a chance to go into videos and read some of Larry Reese's comments, Larry Reese is an entertainer. He is a storyteller, and I believe about half of what he tells me. But it's very entertaining, and don't take offense to that, Larry, but you are very entertaining. I love you with all of my heart. I love to see your comments show up, and you telling big tales, whether they're the truth or not, I'll never know, but they are entertaining, and I wish that I could just make a video, and me and you sitting there talking and chit-chatting. And me and Larry, we both know we disagree on some things, but we agree on a lot more than we disagree on, and I'll leave it at that. But I love him. I think a lot of the man. He is very entertaining. But if you get a chance to read some of his comments, you'll get a laugh out of reading some of the stuff that he comes up with now. Justin Wicker, good to see you. Fred Ross, howdy from Arkansas. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. And y'all, I'm sure I have missed some people while I was talking. Christy, Woody, different ones on here. But thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate it, y'all. That wild lettuce is how I found you. Just harvested something, made it the first time. He's the one that he said, I think your Kid Rock. Well, for a long time, y'all, I was a huge fan of Kid Rock. I liked his music. He is a very talented singer. Now, I don't agree with his amount of profanity that he uses or his lifestyle. But he is I liked his music back before he was really famous, because it was in my wilder days when I discovered him, and he was new then. So I kind of grew up on him, and then I was a big Hank Jr. fan because my brother and sister raised me on Hank Williams Jr., and they became friends. So I was a big Kid Rock fan. So it's funny that you compare me to Kid Rock. I ain't him, I promise you. I'm a lot better person than he is. No, probably not. I do wish I had his money, though. Well, no, I don't. I don't wish I had his money. It'd cause more problems than it'd help. It'd probably ruin me if I did. But that wild lettuce video has went viral. And I've got some things that I'm going to tweak. I plan to do another one of those wild lettuce videos, because every year I learn a lot about this plant. Mike Reed is good with that plant. And I still stand behind wild lettuce. The best way to use wild lettuce is to simply cut the plant and lick the lactocarium off. By far the most effective and best way to use it. From that, I would immediately go, while I have fresh plant, to make tea. I would make tea. The next easiest way to preserve it, I would make a tincture with alcohol. I have not had a lot of great luck with the apple cider vinegar tincture. I have not made an alcohol tincture, but Mike Reed has. The tar is by far the best shelf-stable way for a long-term storage, and condense it down and just take a little bit, but it is very bitter, very time-consuming to make, easy to let it boil, and I let it boil in that video and left that in the video, and I get so many comments on, well, didn't that kill it? Well, with wild lettuce, it don't just kill it all instantly. The longer it boils, the weaker it gets, and yes, when it boils for a few seconds, it lost a little bit of its power. I left that in the video, continued making it to see what it did, to test it. It still works. It is still very powerful, but it is a little weaker because I boiled it. It's like poke salad. You boil poke salad 3 times and strain the juice off to get all the toxins out of it to make it edible. This is sort of the same way. The longer you boil it, the more you kill. You don't just wipe it out when it comes to a rolling boil. It ain't like that. Temperature completely eradicates it. So, but now I'm gonna do another video on the wild lettuce, because I usually don't start harvesting medicinal plants and really focusing on them until I kind of get my garden harvest in. So that's one of the things that holds up a lot of my other stuff. And I'm probably going to do a garden tour this year. I had some people ask me, hey, take us through and show us the garden. And I have showed it in some clips. I walked through the corn video and looked to love it. But probably one day this week we'll do a full-on, hey, garden tour. This is what everything looks like at this time of the year. Show you the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. So Mr. Brody has been at a birthday party today, Mr. Larry, and he is tuckered out, but he's in there playing, and he's mad because he took his little wallet thing that he's got his big deck of cards. It's just tall in it. It's a big leather zipper round thing, and he left it at church this morning, and he's kind of upset that he forgot it. We told him we wasn't going to go all the way to church just to get it tonight, so... But he's all right. He's about over his sickness. Y'all, we did make Brody some mullein tea. I did finally talk him into drinking it, and it kicked that cold out. He has not been coughing ever since that. So mullein tea works for Mr. Brody. He's doing good tonight. Took 2 days for you added sugar and honey to help taste. Now, I will agree with the honey. And if you really want to help it with honey, get you some honey made late in the year when the goldenrod has bloomed and they have built their honey off the goldenrod flowers. I have a man up in North Mississippi, Mr. Dan Hammett, that he's a beekeeper. I have some bees back here by our pumpkin patch. I do not keep bees. And he makes me some goldenrod honey, but it is a little bit more bitter. It's not as sweet to put on your biscuit as regular honey. So he don't make a lot of it, but he makes me some because I use it in my elderberry syrup. Add that to it, and that'll help a lot. Tennessee Smokey, good to see you. Braden Anderson, good to see you. Sue, how are you? You see what's sitting here on the table? Somebody's been playing with that, Miss Sue. Yeah, 2 days. That black tar with the wild lettuce is a good way to make a good pain medicine to store and keep us. And I've had mine in the refrigerator for over a year. When I take it, I take about a half a teaspoonful. I just kind of scrape it out of that bowl because in the refrigerator it'll get really hard. But I think if I set it out on the shelf, it would keep just as well. If I put it in a jar and put a lid on it, I think it would keep just the same way. Braden Anderson, if you'll go back and look through the blacksmithing playlist on my channel, you will see several knife making videos. I don't film every knife make, but I have made several different type of knives, patch knives, different things. And you can, there's several knife making videos on there. You go back and look. I try to keep everything in playlist. All the gardening goes into a gardening. All the fishing goes into a fishing playlist. All of my outdoor cooking goes into a cooking playlist. And all the foraging, medicinal plants, all of that goes into the foraging playlist. So, depending on what you're looking for, it kind of helps break it up where if you want to go back and look for a certain thing, you can find it. And I try to be mindful and add videos when I upload them to which playlist they fall into a category. Now, some I fail to do that on, I'm sure. But if you'll search the channel, I have several knife making videos. And this fall, we're going to do some more. In fact, y'all watch me make a Bowie knife that I put the pine knot handle on. I just want you to be aware that I have not made a holster for that video. I do not like that knife. It is the best blade I have ever made. So before hunting season this fall, you'll see that knife come out and me destroy that pine knot handle off of it and rebuild a handle for that knife. That will be a video. I'm just not happy with it. The pine knot just didn't look good. I'm never going to scrape on it to get fire starter. I have an abundance of pine knots everywhere in the woods here. there's no chance of me getting in these woods locally here and not being able to find a pine knot readily available, easy to find. So I don't really need that. I just don't like, I'm not happy with it. It don't have the feel. It didn't, I was in a hurry when I built it and put it on. Brody was rushing me to take him to do something, go fishing or something. And I rushed that handle and it's not fitted perfectly. I'm just not happy with it. So we're gonna redo that, that knife. You just got a new machete. I have a machete that I have just acquired some rubber belting material. I'm probably gonna build a rubber holster for a machete out of it. But I'll use a machete a lot. Grew up with a machete. But now I had rather use my Bowie knife. Cause for what little chopping I'm gonna do, I could use my Bowie knife for. And I've heard a lot of the big name survival guys say, don't chop with a knife. Well, I look at them and say, well, you don't baton your knife. I don't like baton a knife. Is it useful? Yeah, but there's really no need in it. There's no need to go out and split up firewood. Not when you know what you're doing. There's too many downed twigs to use to need to split up firewood to make a fire. So, and people say, oh, but you get inside of the dry. That's not true either. I have split wood out here at my fire pit, like big wood with an axe, to try to get to dry wood. And when it's been raining, it's soaked all the way through. So that splitting into there to get dry wood is it's a 50-50 chance. It depends on how much it's rained, and a lot of variables come into that. But yeah, we're gonna do that, and I've got some tomahawks I want to make. I'm just getting, and I'm gonna do my blacksmithing over at my dad's shop, the welding shop, with a gas forge for the most part. In fact, I may bring one of the gas forges and set it up over here, but that'll be well after this hot weather goes away, y'all. It is too hot to be. And one thing, I got out there and ground on a knife the other day, the ones I was finishing, and I'm trying to make Uncle Sasquatch some patch knives to send him some blades. I just wanted to send him some blades. He's been experimenting with some knife making and doing a really good job of it. And I wanted to send him a knife, and I got out there grinding on one the other day, and y'all, I about melted. Seeing if there's any bugs in my coffee. That's what Southern Mud Pottery looks like for those of you that don't know. That's a cup I made and my wife painted. Y'all, the bugs are getting awful out here. My iPad's down to 17%. But thank all of you for joining us tonight. Anybody got any more questions, we'll answer them. I'm probably not going to be on no great long while longer. I know these videos, I don't even know exactly how long we've been running at this point. I don't have anything so far showing me. Yeah, 53 minutes. My Lord, y'all, we have been on there longer than I expected. But that's all right, too. I see comments pop up on the screen on my phone, which is, I film with my iPhone for the most part. But then I've got this iPad, and I very seldom use it. It usually stays down in my pottery shop because I set it up on a table over there, and I watch YouTube videos or listen to a book on it while I'm working, and I hadn't charged it in a while. Mountain Mike, I am in east central Mississippi. I'm out in the county by a long ways, but we're closer to probably Philadelphia than anywhere else. Out at basically the head of the Pearl River is what you see me fishing and hunting on. You set up a new trail cam to see some deer. Well, look for tracks. Right now they'll be foraging on whatever available in your area that's sprouting out they like to eat. Look at your foliage. Look and see what's bit off. They'll start eating the tenderest shoots on stuff, and you'll see it bit off. Look about waist high. and that's about where deer's head. He's gonna grab that first. You find what they're feeding on like that. Look for tracks on the ground, and then from those tracks, you start getting an idea of where they come into that area from, and you can follow that back and find the main trails that's going to their bedding areas, and you can set those cameras up, pointed at those trails, and you'll get deer pictures. That is one of the methods I use to find deer. You want to find their bedding areas. Deer's gonna bed in the thickest area that's in that area, where with the least amount of traffic. And it ain't gotta be but a half an acre. If it's a thicket that there's no dogs bothering them, no trail, no people going through this area, it ain't gotta be no huge, big, giant thicket. A half an acre, and they will bed up on there and literally live there, and you won't see them till at night. So. Larry, you said it's finally gotten real hot in South Carolina. Well, I invite you to come on down here to Mississippi and get a taste of what the Gulf humidity can do to the air down here. The heat I can deal with. I can deal with the hot. But the me gasping for breath out here, I helped a neighbor, which actually is our pastor. He's building a house up here. We went and hung trusses. My dad and I went and helped him one day last week. I can't even remember what day. Y'all, we just about melted. We worked till about 10 o'clock. We quit, come home, and then I cut grass. We went back and worked from 3 till about 4:30, and got 6 trusses hung up on posts 20 foot in the air. And I'm so thankful I'm not still doing metal roofing. My body cannot take it anymore. So the Lord has blessed me to be able to make pottery now for a living, and y'all, I enjoy it. But now I can't get no pottery made because I've started gardening too hard. And every year I get excited in the spring and plant way too much stuff, and then this time of year I'm fighting for it. So. And somebody had talked about put out corns and they leave everything else alone. My mentality was I'm going to plant enough for me and the deer and let them have part of it. But part of me gets greedy and then don't want them to have that part. But they never stop with that little part. They'll literally wipe out everything if you don't. So I just hadn't been able to make that happen for me. Yes, Larry, it has been mild this year. Usually here it is hot in May. End of May we start getting 90-degree heat. This year it has been the end of June before we really got hot weather. So it actually is a mild summer so far. Now it could drastically change from here on, but we've had one bad week. This past week has been really hot. So next week is not supposed to be that hot, so it could still turn out to overall be a mild summer for us. So, and I feel like it's the same way pretty much across the nation when it's like that. I don't know. I don't really check the temperatures everywhere else, but Michigan Prepper, I'll give you a tip on clay. I don't. We buy our clay from a box store, and if you do production pottery, which is what we do, we wholesale it to stores, and they turn around and sell it again. But I do know a little bit about the clay process, and when you dig a clay up, if you want to see if it's good clay, roll it into we always grab a ball of clay and roll it out, and it gets a long tube. If you can wrap it all the way around your finger without it cracking, it's really good clay. It has to be moist. It can't be dripping wet, but it has to be very damp, but not to where when you touch it, it leaves a wet spot on your hand. But it has to be damp. It can't be dry. And if you get those consistencies, what you do is you take that clay and you put it in as water and just stir it with a paint mixer until it is a complete liquid and very thin. And then you want to strain that through a window screen or some kind of mesh screen. Get out all the little pebbles, rocks, twigs, grass, weeds, whatever else is in it, mainly the rocks, and get that out. And then you pour it through a bed sheet. Get you a bed sheet and drape it over a 5-gallon bucket with a dimple in the middle, and you pour all that clay water, and the water will go on through the bed sheet, and you'll catch up the particles, and it'll be like a slurry slip. You twist that bed sheet up and hang it up for a day and let it drip. And you'll be left with a ball of clay that you can really work with. And it's a very simple process, but it is time consuming. And then once you make you a bowl out of that, it'll dry and not crack, but it will be very, very brittle. At that point, you're going to have to set it down over there and let it get completely dry. And then you have to put it in something and cook it up slowly. It really needs to take about 12 hours to cook, to get up to temperature. And you got to get it to about 1,800 degrees. And that's biscuing it. And it'll be a bowl you can use then. There is some other methods of doing things, that Roku firing they call it, where they put a garbage can and they do all their glaze and everything at one time, and I think it cooks a good bit hotter. You got to get it up to probably around 2,300, depending on how good a clay it is. So, JL, it did not quite get to 150. It felt like it, but it actually only got to about 96 or 97 degrees. Now that picture, I stole it from Facebook, but it was the local weather place out of Meridian, Mississippi that posted that. And they forevermore caught flack for that. And I never did go back and search their page to see if they made an apology about it or whatever, but everybody here on Facebook shared it. So it went viral here locally. Now, I'm sure it didn't go, I put it on YouTube because I knew all of y'all wasn't going to see it here locally. But anyway, Braden, I don't know. I'll be on for a little while, just till I guess till I kind of get tired of it. I don't know. My phone may cut off. I got 15% battery here, and that just come up and said, yeah, it's saying low battery up there on that. So it may cut off. If I abruptly disappear, it ain't because I got mad at you. Phone may die on me, so I probably ain't gonna be on no long while. Southern Mud might come out with a limited edition Spirit of the Outdoors coffee mug or plate. I don't know. I wanted to make a fish plate, and I've made several, and I've yet to get one to come out like I wanted it. If it does, and I do decide to sell something Spirit of the Outdoors, it probably won't have a name on it like my logo, because this logo is too hard to make. I did cut me out a stencil that I can spray paint through and put it on my cooler lid and my boat. And I'm going to get the canoe. We're going to probably paint the canoe before fall, because red's not an ideal color to squirrel hunt out of. I don't think the deer matter a whole lot. But I want it green with an orange Spirit of Outdoors logo on the side, and I'll spray paint that on there. So I don't know. We'll see about... I do what they call a face mug. If you look in some of my videos, you may have seen it. I've got a mug with a mushroom on one side and a face that I hand make on the other. But y'all, it takes me a half a day to make one, and they expensive. If I make some, I may put them on my Etsy store. But y'all, you talking about a coffee cup costing you $50. And I struggle to sell them for that because it costs a lot, but I can't sell them any cheaper than that because it takes so long to make. It's hand formed. I may put a picture of one up eventually. Uh-oh, I have done lost my live chat here. Hang on, y'all. I think my service is very limited. Y'all, I have lost all my chats. Okay, so give me a second. This thing, look, you see what I'm looking at? It has went kablooey on me. Ah, all right, now I got it fixed. Okay, now let's go back to. We getting there, y'all. We getting there. Oh Lord, I wasn't paying attention. I don't know what I touched. Anyway, saw a furnace for sale. I've got 3 kills. The only kill, Larry, that I would be interested in is called a kill. I want an L&L that is very large. It's one of the biggest that L&L makes. They run about $6,000. I think the Scut that I have now we gave about $4,500 for. But I had to replace the elements in it last week. That is all the coils of wire that go round and round and round inside, and there's six of those coils that go around twice, and I had to pull all of them out, and the brick is very brittle and it breaks up bad. The L&L keel has a good set of brick in it and holds up better, so my next keel will be an L&L, and for us to run them long life, they burn a lot of, we run them 2 or 3 times a week, so I can't make do with a hobby keel. When I fire it, looks like terracotta. Yes, and let me show y'all this. This is something I experimented with here back in the spring. These are little mushrooms that you just stick down in there. And once the clay is fired, it kind of turns that color. But then we put this, looks like wet dirt on there. And once it gets to 2,300 degrees, it turns shiny like this. So I made them just to stick in flower pots, and I was gonna make some and sell them, but it just, one of those things, we had so much going on, it just never happened. They're a great idea. I don't know what they're worth. I'd have to get like $10 a piece for them, and sometimes people, when they see something, what it costs, they're like, oh, I don't want to, so. With Jimmy Potts, I may put a couple of face mugs eventually before Christmas, like on my Etsy store. The Etsy store, somebody asked earlier, there's a link on my main homepage of Spirit Outdoors, links to the Etsy store, to my Instagram, and to my Facebook. So if y'all not connected with me on all those platforms, if you want to, I would appreciate you doing it. If you don't want to, it ain't gonna bother me not one bit. I realize that there's a lot of people not on Facebook. I applaud you for that. If it wasn't for me running my Spirit of Outdoors on there and picking up traffic, I probably wouldn't be on it. But I do have some groups that I like on there. But I try to stay out of the politic junk on it. It drives me nuts. Black powder, I've not made a lot of black powder. What little I have made, I homemade a ball mill that I used a glass jar and marbles in. I'm probably going to tweak that design a little bit and find something a little better to run that. But it'll be basically ball milled. And I watched them do the liquid where they wet everything and done it and all. But I think the biggest factor is finding the right char material. I think that is the key to how fast it burns. And I'll tell you and I could be bad wrong, but I learned something using black powder in brass cartridges for the 4570. I have a whole box of 4570 for my Buffalo Classic that is loaded with black powder, and they shoot very well. But we messed up 1 or 2. When we were pressing them down, we caught the edge of the case with a bullet and it crushed it. And when you look in that case after that bullet is pressed down, because a 4570, in case you didn't know, a 4570 cartridge was a 45 bullet on top of 70 grains of black powder. That's how it got the name 4570. So 70 grains of black powder is almost level full with that brass casing. And when you put that bullet on there to seat it, you have to press it down so far to get to the crimping rings. And which that varies with bullets, but we had the bullets that was to the right size. My dad is an expert with reloading and dialing in rifles, and he knows a lot about them because he's read about them from the time he was my age or younger. And what I found is that black powder presses down to a solid block of fine powder. Those granulars, what granulation you put in that cartridge before you start has no effect on how well it performs, because it presses it before it's fired. It all looks the same after it's pressed in there. The only time I feel like that granulation makes a huge amount of difference is in a flintlock. I think it matters greatly in a flintlock. In your modern rifles, and it has a lot to do with how hard you press it. I think people that just kind of ease a bullet down in there and just lightly seat it are finding a whole lot more variable in the grains of powder, how fast they burn, versus the guy that's got the habit of really hammering home his bullets. And I think either one of it works well as long as you consistently do the same thing. And y'all, I hadn't been doing black powder for a long time, but I'm one of those people that I watch what I do and I learn from experience, and I pay close attention to what happens when I do this and then what happens when I do that. I'm always experimenting. Even in my garden, I plant this, how did that do? I plant this, okay, I'm going to plant it like this year and see what this. I like to experiment, and that's how I learn. And I'm doing that with black powder, and I really think, like, especially putting it in brass cartridges where you got to press it so hard, it don't matter if you put 2F, 3F, or whatever in there. But so basically, I think the biggest effect of the black powder, using it, is what you use for char material. And I've got some grapevine that I've got ground up out there that I am going to use to make this next batch. But after that, I don't know. I'm probably going to try some cedar and different stuff. But I'm going to make some this fall. Now, I have made some that will shoot in the pistols I have. I was scared to put it in my rifle because with a pistol, I can take that barrel off and I can do a lot more with getting that out versus a long barrel. If I've got to get a ball puller, pull that barrel, some of those barrels are long and rusted up, and it's hard to pull a bullet out of. So anyway, speaking of black powder, I recently learned to make a new catfish bait called the quarter stick. It has a waterproof fuse on one end. Jimmy Honeycutt, I do believe there was a man by the name of Claude Ledbetter that fished just like that. And if I ain't mistaken, they was having a hard time fishing down there in Amite County, and it was dry, and said it had got hot, and they wasn't nobody catching no fish. And old Claude Ledbetter was going fishing, and he was coming back and just bragging about how many fish he'd caught. They said he was coming back with coolers full of fish. Said the game warden said, Claude, said, I want to go with you and see how you catch them. And old Claude just popped off to him and said, oh, y'all don't know what you're doing. So the game warden gets in the boat with Claude Ledbetter, and they go down to the river and get down there to one of these big holes in the river. And he said, all right, Claude, I want to see how you catching these fish when can't nobody else catch them. Said Claude raised the boat seat, reached under there and pulled out a stick of dynamite about yay long, lit the fuse, let it go down the short, drawed back and chunked it. Said, whoo! Said them big catfish, big old catfish, said they just come turning belly up out there. Said Claude just had a dip net scooping them up by the tubfuls, putting them in the boat. Game warden's over there going, Claude, you can't do this. This is against the law. It's illegal. You can't do this. Whole time, Claude done lit another stick of dynamite, pitched it over at the game warden, looked at him and said, you gonna argue or fish? Oh, Lord. Y'all don't know I'm a big fan of Jerry Clower. Still want a flintlock rifle, maybe a 45. I have them all 45 and 50. I like the 50. My next build will be, and I plan on doing it at some point in the future. I don't know when. I want to build a 54 smooth bores because that is a 28 gauge, and you talk about a dandy gun to take to the woods and be able to load it with shot and shoot squirrels with smooth bore. It'll shoot shot good or shoot round ball, and up to 100 yards, which is probably about all I'm gonna be shooting anyway. I can shoot round ball at deer. So anyway, Miss Teresa, I have been raised on Jerry Clower for a long time, and he is all time the best comedian that there ever was or ever will be. Nobody will come close. Second in line behind him, a little ways down the charts, would be Wendy Bagwell. And if you've never heard Wendy Bagwell talk about going and getting a Volkswagen, you need to look up Wendy Bagwell's Volkswagen story, and I promise you it'll be worth your time to listen to. I encourage everybody needs to hear that one. Weeping Willow. I have heard willow was a good wood. I used the powder I made in a cannon. I wanted to build a cannon. One day I will build a cannon. I don't really care about shooting a projectile out of it, but I just want one like 4th of July. I would sound it off. I would load it with a pound of black powder and fire off a pound of black powder. Especially if I got where I could make good black powder and it didn't cost me $30 or $40 a shot. But still, $30 or $40 would be cheap because it would definitely put these firecrackers we hear around here to shame. The snake handling church, yeah, Mr. Jimmy Honeycutt, it is. That is a good one. He told him, he said he was going out the kitchen door, and they hollered and told him, said there ain't no door in the kitchen. He said they's fixing to be. Thank you, Tennessee Smokey. I'm glad you're enjoying the knife, y'all. Tennessee Smokey has one of the brother knives that I made early on. He got ahead of y'all in the list when he ordered knives. And he wanted a knife that was out of that. I'm not sure exactly, y'all, what the name of the wood, if it's monkey wood or zebra wood or what it is. But we put boiled linseed on it, y'all, and it turned just about jet black. I mean, the blade's black, the handle is black, and I was worried that it's too dark. But he loves it, and Braden Anderson, black powder is gunpowder. Black powder is what is in the firecrackers you're hearing going off tonight for people that celebrate the 2nd of July. And they'll really use it on the 4th of July. But it is what is fired in a muzzle loading rifle or shotgun. It is a powder that you can home make if you know what you're doing and you're very careful and you use some common sense. I'm not big on safety and safety equipment. I believe in common sense and watch what you're doing type thing. But I don't encourage, I'm not going to tell you how to make it and what ingredients to use because you need to be careful. If you start making something like that, you could lose your fingers quick, fast, and in a hurry. It is very dangerous powder. And y'all, for me to sit here and tell you all that, you know it's pretty dangerous because I'm not big on safety. That being said, it is the powder you use to load a muzzle loader or cannons, old flintlocks, old gunpowder, slow burning powder for the most part. It is what is in modern cartridges is called a smokeless powder. This is a black powder, which when you shoot it, it leaves a huge smoke cloud. You got to sit there and fan and blow the smoke out of the way to even see if your deer's laying down or if he run off. And then when he run off and you don't find him, you don't have a clue which way he went. You have to go out there to look for tracks. And if there's a lot of leaves and hard ground like it is here in September, when it ain't rained since the end of July, You can't find no tracks. You don't know which way he went. And that round ball, very seldom it leaves a good blood trail. So a lot of downsides to black powder and muzzleloader hunting, but the challenge is what makes a lot of people better hunters. Also causes a lot of deer to be injured and not found. So it's got its downsides too. Don't know if it's the best. I'm told willow was preferred charcoal. Well, these two people done agreed on willow, weeping willow and willow. We have a lot of black willow here. I do have some weeping willow I can use. We have a weeping willow tree in the front yard. I just thought about this, that the limbs died back early in the year from whatever happened that killed our fig trees. And I've got to prune those limbs, and I could get plenty enough to make some charcoal, so I can get some weeping willow charcoal. We may make that happen as well. Thank y'all for the idea. I'll do that before I let that get away, because my mama and daddy really wanted to cut that tree down, and there was some green at the bottom of it, and I wouldn't let them cut it down because I really love a weeping willow tree, especially when it gets up about 20 foot tall and it's draping out and they're beautiful when the wind blows. And this is directly in front of my house and my porch, and I really wanted it to grow and get big. And but I could prune those dead limbs out and get enough to make me some charcoal. Yeah, Michigan Pepper said, antique muzzle loading propellant. That is a good, accurate description of it. And Braden Anderson, I'm gathering that you are a young person. I'm not going to call you a kid. But you'll see a lot of black powder and old muzzleloader. It is a traditional old way of hunting. It's going back to your roots. It is a deeper connection with the animals. If you're interested in hunting, and Mr. Larry Reese will tell you this, I know, make you a bow, learn to hunt with it. Learn to kill a squirrel with a bow you made. It won't be the best shooting bow you've ever had. It'll be the worst one you've ever had, but it'll make you better. Hunt with black powder. It's a challenge. It's harder to do. You're not going to kill as many deer. You're going to have to wait till you get closer to deer to get a shot at them. There's a lot going to happen, cause you to miss a lot of deer. But it'll make you a better hunter by a long shot. I encourage you, though, to do that. But yeah, it's the old ways of doing it. I like it. Kevin said I use willow char ball milled, picked and ground fastener. I'm also thinking of flint lock. Well, I'm gonna make my first batch out of some grapevine that I saved. I've already charred it and ground it up. We'll make a batch out of it, and I'll probably make small batches, but we'll be doing all this closer to fall when we start really diving off into back towards hunting. And y'all will know the fishing picks up here in the fall. I do some of my best fishing in the fall. So I'm hoping that the mosquitoes are not so bad that we can't go into the swamp and do some overnights this fall. I have yet to be able to make it happen. I wanted to camp out this year, and I really never got to go do much camping out in the spring and fish. And it's done got too hot now. But when it starts cooling off, maybe we can get down there and fish and hunt and just, I'd love to go spend like 2 or 3 days down there. We'll just have to see if I can find the time to make that happen. Percussion caps are hard to find. I was fortunate at a local co-op here to find, they had like 8 or 10 cans, and I bought 5 of them, and I watched the other 5 hang on the shelf for another 3 or 4 months, and I couldn't stand it anymore. And I said, well, you know what? I'll give everybody plenty of time if they needed any to buy them. I want them other 5. So I have like 8 or 10 cans. And I'm hanging on to them until they become available because, I mean, that's all I have is them, and I may not be able to. I have not seen any more locally. And if you order them online, you can find them. But there's a hazmat fee of like $50 to ship them. And y'all, I'd just about soon drive somewhere they was and pick them up by hand. Brody is in there playing. Let's see if we can get Brady out here. That's my wife commented. Y'all see Southern Mud Pottery on the homestead. That is her channel. Uh, so she's in there watching me, probably laughing at me. We pick at each other, y'all. And those of you that are subscribed to her channel are not seeing a lot of videos, y'all. On her defense, she is extremely busy. She's constantly taking care of Brody, and they're babysitting and watching him, and he is a handful at age 4. I promise you, he is a handful. And she's constantly cooking me meals. She is an extremely good cook. She cooks even off the camera when she ain't filming. And then her biggest problem is when she films, it's not as easy and fun for her to edit as it is me. I enjoy editing. So, that's why you don't see a lot of videos on her. And then she does all the painting. I make pottery, and that's the easy part of it, y'all. She does all the painting and adding the artwork and making it beautiful. That is her handiwork and her field of expertise. So I'm trying to push her to get videos, and I may have to start doing her editing for her. She asked me to, and I'm like, I don't have time to edit your videos, but I really may have to do that if that's what helps get her videos, because I would like to get her channel monetized as well. The extra income from my channel and hers would greatly help us to free us up to be able to make better videos and do more stuff that we can film right now with pottery and everything else. I just keep so much going on, I can't get it all done. But anyway, yeah, we are, Larry, we are a handful. I'll promise you we are. Let me see if I can get Brody to come out here. Y'all give me just a second. We'll see if Brody will come tell y'all hi before we shut down. Brody, come here. Come look at these people on YouTube. Come here. Yes, come here. You not going to at least come tell them hey? They asking about you. Come here just for a minute. Take it with you. Bring it on. Come on. Brody, please come say hey to them. Roscoe, come on. Okay, y'all. Well, we've got low battery popping up on the phone. Come here, Roscoe.
Hi,
come here, son. Come here. Get up here. Come on. Y'all see both dogs are here. Come on. Get up here.
Hi, Dad.
Look, tell them, hey, here's Roscoe, but he's been inside.
Hey, y'all. There is a moon up there.
The moon is full, y'all. We have got a full moon. Tell them, hey.
Hi, y'all.
Y'all have got to see Brody tonight. And then Roscoe. Roscoe has got as many fans as I do, and Brody's got more. But Roscoe, y'all, is on lockdown again. There's a female dog in the neighborhood that is in heat, or in season as we call it. We call it in heat. She's in season, and you see him nosing there, that is what he's smelling. So he has to go back in the house. The other one that's up here is supposed to be out there guarding the peas, so the deer's probably eating the peas up as we speak. Roscoe, inside. You go shine for deer, Brody. He's got his light. He's going to shine, see if the deer's eating the garden up. Mr. Larry said you'll learn more by the animal you watch than the animal you kill. If all you're doing is going out to kill, you're not a hunter, you're a killer, and you'll never be a real woodsman. And Larry, I agree with that. And I'll tell you this, you're going to see a lot more of me in the future taking a camera to the woods and just filming wildlife. Because once I've killed what I'm going to eat, I don't have a need to just see what all I put in the freezer. That's why I fish and throw fish back. What, buddy?
There's not enough.
Did you have a good enough light? I bet that light you got ain't good enough. Go tell Mama to hand your daddy's light off the top of by the back door. Go in there and tell Mama you need that light off the back door.
But I didn't see there's not peas.
Yeah, but your light ain't good enough to shine them. He's got a little bitty pocket light. You have a dog named Roscoe? Well, y'all, I hate to shut this down. Hannah said that Gideon, the Rottweiler, was hardcore watching Roscoe. Woodsman's Way. May your aim be highly focused. Your arrow finds its way, putting food on the table, not a trophy. Yes, if you've been watching my channel very long, you know that I am not about, hey, let's brag about how big a deer we killed, how big a fish we caught. Yes, if I kill a buck with horns, I'm excited. I like it. If I catch a big bass, you see me catch one in the kayak the other day, I got all excited. I get excited about both ends. But when I get what I'm planning on eating, I'm done. With fish, you can catch it and throw it back. He's got a show enough light now. He's going to shine for deer in there. Can you see them? You don't see no eyes? They've been coming after midnight, I think. But you do? Uh-oh. I'll take y'all with me. Let me see that light. Y'all ain't gonna be able to see a blooming thing, are you? See that light?
I just saw eye.
Yeah, well, let me see. If I see an eye. No.
Well, I saw one came up. What?
I don't know if you can tell, but the Polaris Ranger is, no, y'all can't. Right out there, you might can see a little bit. All right, here's your light, Brody.
I just saw a deer eye.
Okay. Y'all back to the porch where there's some light. Leave Nick to grab the camera in the middle of the night and take off live out there in the middle of the dark where you see nothing. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to shake y'all around like that. Y'all didn't get seasick, did you? Y'all, I have to have a tripod. I told somebody today that was asking about me filming at church. And I said, I have to have an old country boy has to have a tripod and set that camera down and leave it alone. Otherwise, I'll be moving it all around like this and everybody will be seasick and won't know what's going on. So anyway, yes, B. Hendricks, I am doing my best to teach him right. Now, right now, we are in a full-blown stage of him being mean. He had been really good for a while, and then he's got to biting some people and stuff, but we're working on that, and we try. I believe in spanking a young'un, but I don't believe in doing it too much. And Brody has probably had about 2 good whoopings in his life, and I know somebody's gonna frown on that. There'll be somebody that don't like it. I can't help it. The Bible says, "Spare the rod, spoil the child," and when it's biblical, it's biblical. And I believe in the Bible, and I believe every part of it. And but Brody don't get enough spankings. I mean, the biggest thing is my mama and daddy and them, they like to give him a Coca-Cola when he goes down there, and that really fires him up. He comes back wound up. And we have to watch stuff with red dyes and stuff like that because you don't realize it really wires him up. But where I messed up is it got hot and we give him some Gatorade. And y'all, the Gatorade really wind a young'un up. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
What, buddy?
It was no deer eye.
It was.
But
Did you tell it to leave? Y'all, this is that Ode Pro Light.
That deer wasn't eating our peas.
Green, red, white,
want,
green. He didn't know he'd do all that. Now he's got to go play with it, but we'll charge him back. It's got rechargeable batteries. Go out yonder and play with it. Don't shine it in your eyes. It's bright. He's fascinated with that light. Tanya Ann, y'all doing all right? Good to see you, Tanya. I heard your son was up here and I didn't even realize it today. I told Michelle, I said, I can't believe she was telling me about it. That was Ethan. I was like, I had no clue. I really didn't. I apologize. I knew we wouldn't. We live too far apart with cousins, y'all, for those of you that are lost in this conversation. And we don't see each other enough. So anyway.
Daddy, I want to use red.
You want to use? Well, look, all you got to do is flip it to red. Go shine red. He's gone with it now. But yes, B. Hendricks, he's, for the most part, he's a good kid. He really is. And he's one of those kids that a lot of people would put on ADHD medicine, but I'm not going to do that. I think it has a more long-term harm than it does good right now, and I'd rather tolerate it, and we're still battling on whether we're going to homeschool him or send him to college. I've got enough sense to teach him most things. Y'all, I'm not good with math. I can teach him basic add, subtracting, and multiplication, division. I mean, that's fairly simple. But when you start getting into algebra and geometry and other things, you need, I really, and the formulas that they want him to know. Now, how important that is, I don't know. But if he needs it to go to college or something, I I guess I may have to find a tutor or something to that. But now, y'all, I'm good with science, English, history, and PE. We can handle that. I think we're good on that. So we are discussing homeschooling for him one day, but we got several years before we got to worry about it. But y'all protect the kids. Be careful what you let them teach the kids now in school. They're teaching them some awful stuff, and they do it before you are aware of it. I don't have a problem with anybody living life as they choose at home, behind closed doors. Live life how you want to live it. It don't bother me. It don't bother me how you want to live it. I don't care if you want to smoke dope till you purple in the face. As long as you're not trying to tell my kid he needs to smoke dope, okay? And that applies to every other lifestyle. You live life on your terms, how you want to live it, it don't bother me. I know how I want to live it, and that's according to the Bible, and I want to teach my son that. And I want somebody else coming in and telling him that that's wrong. And that's where I have a problem. So, when that all, most of you that know me and watch all my videos pretty well knew how I would feel about that. That is my stance on it, and that is why I'm considering homeschooling.
Daddy.
Yes, son.
Something splashing in our flower.
Yes, it's the cat and the dog does it.
A critter did it now.
A critter. Come over here where they can see you while you're doing all that telling. Tell them about the critters. What's them critters doing? They're tired of hearing me talk anyway.
They steal their chickens and one spot's their straw up.
Yeah, they eating our garden.
Eating our plants.
Yeah.
Eating our mushrooms.
They eating your mushrooms up too. Oh Lord, they like some mushrooms.
And plants and plantains.
They eating your plantain. You know what? We need to make some plantain salve. I had somebody ask about it, and if you happen to watch this, I found a couple of cans of my plantain salve that I do still have here. Y'all, for some reason, this iPad is not picking up new comments. I see them popping up there. They're not showing up here
Daddy.
for whatever reason.
Daddy.
So I'm not ignoring you. I'm not seeing them.
Something that all our plants we just planted and all stuff that they're on.
Okay, I don't know. I can't see the comments. They doing what now?
They doing stuff to all our plants.
Yeah, they eating up all our plants.
Yeah, and all our other stuff. That one.
Okay, not getting any more notifications. I'm working on it. I know y'all get tired of dealing with me. I do everything, y'all, on the fly. I literally, when I film YouTube, it is just like this. I turn the camera on and start doing whatever I'm doing. And my editing, really, honest to God, consists of cutting the end of a clip off where I reach up at the camera and the beginning of a clip off where I reach up to turn it on. And I've filmed, and then like when I'm fishing now, I cut out a lot more because there's a lot of me standing there just waiting on a fish to bite. And so, but this thing here has just went. I catch that one up there. Boo boo bang bang, good to see you. My corn, I have got some corn down yonder, y'all. It's over 10 foot tall. Honest to God, it is over 10 foot tall. Y'all, I think this iPad is about to die. I think my phone is about to die. I wanted to catch those last comments before I shut everything down. Okay, maybe we're getting somewhere now.
Daddy.
Because the last comment I got to see was from Tanya.
Daddy, I don't like.
Well, mash the back of the button. Look, you see this lever right here? You push it over. That's green. Look, push it to the middle. That's white.
Okay.
Yes, now I'm getting the comments. It's in our school system. Yes, it is. She is first tell you the school district individual. Yeah, there's a lot of variables. I know personally of a guy in North Carolina that was over us. He was the principal of the school, and they had several readings of the trans come in and read to the kids, and they had several readings before any of the parents were even aware it was going to happen. So they had no voice, no choice, no nothing. It's pushed on. And like I said, if somebody wants to live that lifestyle, I don't have no problem with it. I don't hate them. I'm not mad at them. I don't want it forced on my kids. And I keep seeing people say, well, yeah, look, you got your kids with your guns and all. I'm teaching my kid about guns and gun safety. I'm not teaching your kid about guns and gun safety. Now, if he watches my videos, I'm teaching him, but I'm not coming and forcing it on him. I'm not coming to your home and doing it. I'm not coming to your school and teaching your kids about guns and that they need guns. I'm doing it to my kid at home. And that is the difference, and that is the way you have to look at that. But anyway, my wife got stung this evening with a yellow jacket. Rubbed some plantain that I got from you, and she went from hollering to laughing in a couple minutes. Good stuff. Y'all would not believe how good plantain really is. And I'll tell you this, last night I woke up in the night and I found a tick on my side and I pulled it off, and there's a little red spot right now, but it was a very, very, very small tick. The bigger ones you can identify and see what it is. Well, this one was so small I could not see a spot on it. I could not see anything. I put plantain on it, and my biggest fear is that Rocky Mountain fever or whatever the Lyme disease you get from it. So the plantain will draw out that stuff. Ant bites, when Brody would get eat up with ants when he was real little, we would take plantain like and just crush it up and squeeze it up in our hands, fresh plantain, rub it all over, and they would not even fester up. The salve is not quite as powerful as just raw flesh plant material, but y'all, plantain is a powerful thing. Inside problems, you can just eat it. It will help. It's edible. Plantain it's for any bugs, bites, stings, skin conditions. I go plantain first. There's some other stuff that's good. I got in poison ivy or poison oak one. It don't break me out much. It's very rare that I have a reaction to poison, like poison ivy or poison oak. But it got in between these fingers over here where I'd grab something in the woods. And I rubbed some plantain on it, and within about 30 minutes, it wouldn't itch no more, and the rash went away. So it's a wonderful thing. We are going to make some more here before long, and I may put it on my Etsy store. So y'all might want to check out the Etsy store in the future. There's nothing on it right now, so don't bother going over there looking tonight. I'll put a community post when I get time, probably after the t-shirts show up, and I get time to make another batch of plantain. Brody's got him a new gun. Does it have a safety on it, Brody? It does. Do you point it at people? Okay.
It's not loaded.
Oh, it's not loaded?
No.
But you still don't need to point them at people, do you?
Well,
Y'all, we working on this stuff. It don't have a bullet. You're supposed to always act like it does have a bullet in it, so don't point it at people.
But it don't now.
But now he's confused because him and his buddy gets out there plays and they shoot each other and we don't say nothing. Ain't Bite married to Uncle Steen? Yeah.
Hey.
All right, what?
You took the bullets out.
I took all the bullets out. You didn't know this thing right here had a battery? and it would shoot a whole bunch of real balls out.
Yeah.
He didn't know that. All right, y'all. I am fixing to go in before me and Brody both get eat up with mosquitoes. They are starting to zoom around. You see me doing this number. Thank all of you for watching tonight. I've enjoyed sitting here and having a chat. We don't do a whole lot of sit down and just talk. I might should do it more regular. I get a big response out of it. And I enjoy sitting here just talking to y'all. I really do. So thank all of you for watching.
I sent a sound clip at the neighbor.
Yeah. Well, what's the best way to do things?
Well, there was, you know,
What's the best way to do things?
It's way like you did it.
Yeah. Tell them all we'll see them next time.
We'll see you next time.
Y'all have a good night, y'all.
Well, it was a big there eating our peas.
Yeah, well, it'd probably be the last night he gets to eating, I reckon.
Yeah.
We probably gonna burn his rear end with some number 6 shot, okay?
Yeah.
But anyway, thank y'all for watching. We'll see you next time. And hopefully I see you again before the 4th. Hopefully I get some videos out before the 4th. I'm going to definitely try to film one tomorrow for the 4th of July. But thank you for watching. If I don't see you till then, before then, happy 4th of July. Y'all stay safe through the holidays. If you drink, y'all stay out of the roads. Don't drink and drive. But have a good time. Enjoy our independence, our freedom. We live in the greatest country in the world. It's got its faults. It's got its flaws. There's bad people in this country, but there's more good people than they are bad. I promise you they are. My YouTube channel is evidence of that. There are a lot of good people out there. So thank all of you for watching and watching what an old poor country boy does. Honest to God, I appreciate every comment. Brody appreciates it. Tell them you love them.
Yeah, we're going to have to shoot that there.
But we're not going to kill it, are we? We probably tonight, if we spot him out there, we're going to get the shotgun, an old single shot, and we're going to burn his rear end where he'll at least stay out of it for a couple of weeks till we get the peas picked. And then he can come in, well, no, I want some seed. So I don't know. We're going to have to work on this. May have to put up some... some hot wire out there next year. I don't know. Bushcraft with a preacher. I hadn't seen you in a while. Good to see you, sir. Thank all of you, Mr. Larry Boo Boo Bang Bang, Justin Wicker, Mike Vern, Teresa, Larry Alexander, Jimmy Potts, Teresa. I'm just scrolling through here. Michigan Prepper, Tanya, let's see, B. Hendricks. Thank all of you for watching. Good to see you. Thank you for hanging with me. And those of you that I have not called your name, there's 31 of you I still see watching. And I know I probably hadn't seen you. Thank all of you for being on here tonight on a spur of the moment. We had a good time. We told a Jerry Clower tale. We'll see you next time. Y'all have a good one. Tell them bye, Brody.
Bye.